It's an amazing day today, Thursday, Parashát Ekev, and we have this week's Parashah. We have so many topics. And you know, there's one famous pasuk that everyone says and learns from it. Pasuk says, "Ve'ata Yisrael," and now Israel, Ma Hashem Elohecha shoel me'imach. What is Hashem asking from you? What? Oh, what does He want from you? What? You want to know? You want to hear what? Says the pasuk. Ki'im, only le'yir'a et Hashem Elohecha, just to fear your God. Lalechet bechol derachav, to walk in all His ways. Ule'ahava oto, and to love Him. Ve'la'avod et Hashem Elohecha, and to serve Hashem bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha. To serve Hashem with all your heart and all your nefesh, lishmor, and all your soul. Lishmor et mitzvot Hashem ve'et chukotav, to keep God's mitzvot. Asher anochi mitzavecha hayom letov lach. What I'm commanding you today for your own goodness. So this is what everyone asks. What do you mean? Ve'ata Israel, now Israel. What is Hashem asking from you? Only a list of a million things. What do you mean? So what is it? What is Hashem saying? What is Hashem asking from you? Only fear Hashem, walk in His ways, love Him, serve Him with all your heart and your soul, and keep all His mitzvot. Okay, thank you, but don't call it. The Gemara himself asks, what do you mean? You were saying only, and you were telling me a million things. Doesn't make sense. And more than that, the Gemara in Masechet Berachot asks, Atu yir'ah milta zutrati. What do you mean? Is it? The Gemara understood that no, the only thing that Hashem is saying is only to fear Him. So it says the Gemara, what do you mean? Fearing Hashem, is it something so easy? Is it something so small? What is it? So the Gemara answers, yes. For Moshe Rabenu, fearing Hashem is something small. Fearing Hashem is something small. Can we say fearing, fearing Hashem meaning to have Hashem, absolute? But the truth is, the answer for that is it's true. Because you have to know, every person, fearing Hashem is what's going to cause you to do all the mitzvot. In which way? The Gemara asks in different places in the Masechet Berachot, saying, he doesn't understand. On one side, he says, good worthy is the person that fears, that has fear, that is always scared. And from the other side, another pasuk states, the Gemara says, that a person that is scared doesn't trust Hashem. So the Gemara answers, depends. If it's milidishmaya, if it's something that has to do with mitzvot, so then you have to fear Hashem constantly. But if it's something that has to do with olam hazeh, right, you don't have to fear Hashem. But fearing Hashem is something more. It's a psychological analysis that says the following. When a person, every person is very scary. He's very anxious. He's anxious about different things. Some people have, scared going in the elevator. Scared that who's going to be with them in the elevator. Parking lot. Scary. Some people are phobia. Yeah, some people are. So everyone has some sort of phobia or things they're anxious about that, they're struggling with their mind always to work it out. Says the Torah, I have a solution for you. If you're going to concentrate all your phobia and concentrate in fearing Hashem, then you're not going to be scared of anything else. You understand? Because you cannot demolish this phobia or whatever you're afraid of. Everyone is afraid of something. Sometimes people are afraid of reaching people or embarrassed or talking to people. Some people are afraid, they don't want to be seen in public. Some people, everyone has, if you think about it, really everyone has this kind of thing and that people are afraid of. But if you're going to concentrate, don't fight against it. just lead it to fearing Hashem. If you're going to be fearing Hashem, what fearing Hashem means, that you are really sensing, feeling. Fearing is like feeling Hashem. Shiviti Hashem lenegdi tamid. You know, once they saw, I think I did it once here, once Baba Saleh was sitting in his house, and he was doing things with his hand, doing like signs in his hand. Also, if he would sit down like in a place without a table, he would walk with the cane, and he would do signs with the cane. And people were like, Rabbi, what are you doing? What is this? Somebody was not scared to ask, and he asked. He said, "What, you can't see? I'm doing Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. I'm signing. I'm like writing the name of Hashem in front of me. Shiviti Hashem. I should imagine Hashem. Lenegdi, across me. Tamid, always. If you're always gonna understand that Hashem is in front, that Hashem is with you, that Hashem, so then you will always constantly feel Hashem and not have to do with anything. But really what Hashem really wants from us is our heart. Hashem understands sometimes people fail, some people do certain things, but what are you in general? Are you with Hashem the whole time or not? Can you understand that Hashem is across you? Not only in public, right? In a small room. Are you feeling Hashem? Are you with Hashem? Hashem really wants you to want to be close to Him. If you want to be close to Him, so then all the ways will open and all the possibilities will be open. Some people say, no, I can't learn Torah. Stupid. I can't understand. No, it's difficult for me. No, coming to Minyan is different. It's difficult. Coming to this is difficult. I can't do this. They're not understanding what they really want to do. I want to share with you an unbelievable maaseh with Rabbi Eliezer Unkeluz. Rabbi Eliezer Unkeluz was one of the Tanaim. I don't know if most of you were in Israel, right? Were you in Tveria? No. Were you ever in Tveria? Tveria is a nice city, right? Because the Kinneret, over there we have a lot of Kibbutz Tzadikim. One of the Kibbutz Tzadikim we have there is the Rambam, right? Before the Rambam, if you read, on the left side, you have the Shlach Kadosh, and right afterwards you have the whole Tanaim, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai and his 5 students. One of the students, right, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai is like in the middle. On the left side is Rabbi Eliezer Unkeluz, one of the holy Tanaim. Who was Unkeluz? His father was a very big, rich man. And his father, had property and had a sach geld, as they say, right? And he had camps. He would work out, and he put his son Eliezer. His son, he told him, "You take care of this part of land. You have to excavate, dig and prepare the land because I wanna build something here." And the Midrash explains that he was sitting down on the ground and he was crying. He's crying. Why? So Unkeluz, his father, was a rich man. If you remember, the Gemara in Gittin says that Unkeluz was one of the 5 richest people in Yerushalayim. That he had enough food in his pantry, warehouse to feed the whole Yerushalayim for 20 years. The rich man. So he sees his son digging the ground. He tells him, "Why are you crying?" He said, I'm crying because it's very difficult and I want to learn Torah. He told him, "Listen, Eliezer, my kid, my son, you're 28 years old. Now you want to learn Torah? No, go ahead, work, make a living, get a wife, have children, and your children, you'll take them to teach Torah." So Eliezer was a little bit upset, and he didn't eat food for 2 weeks. He ran away. He didn't eat food for 2 weeks, and then Eliyahu Navi revealed to him, and he was crying. And Eliyahu Navi sees him crying. He tells him, "Why are you crying? He says, I'm crying because I want to learn Torah. I said, you know what? You really want to learn Torah? Go to Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Go to Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai and ask him to teach you Torah. Who was Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai? Gedol Ador, chief, the highest ranking rabbi in that generation. He goes to Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, knocks on the door, and he sits down on the floor and he's crying. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai opens the door and he sees this kid, 28 years old guy crying. He tells him, why are you crying? He said, I'm crying because I want to learn Torah. He said, who are you? I told him, listen, I didn't tell him. He didn't, the Midrash says he didn't tell him who he was. So he asked him, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, what do you know? I want to teach you Torah. But please tell me, what do you know? Can you say Kriyat Shema? Can you say Tefillah? He said, no. Can you say Birkat Hamazon? Do you know how to say Birkat Hamazon? He said, no. So you know what? Come, I'll teach you how to say Kriyat Shema, how to say Tefillah, how to say Birkat Hamazon. Okay, he taught him that. And he was crying. He's saying, son, why are you crying? He says, because I want to learn Torah. And he would teach him 2 halachot every week, and he would repeat it to him the whole week. 8 days he was with Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, and he didn't eat anything. You know, after 8 days of not eating anything, you have smell in your house, in your mouth. And he told him, and he was, and again he's sitting down and he's crying. He's saying, "Why are you crying?" He says, "That because you're teaching me. I still don't know anything." He says, "Okay." Then he took a student from the yeshiva, and he let him sit with him, and he was teaching him the whole Torah. And Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, after 8 days that he wasn't eating, he was smelling his mouth. He told him, "You know what? Your smell is so important, like a korban." Like a smell of the korban that was done l'Shem Shamayim. This is why Hashem accepts your smell. Because he was this. I once heard a beautiful explanation on this story. Since first of all, Urkenut was known as one of the richest people of Yerushalayim, but one of the big supporter of Torah in Yerushalayim. He was known that anyone that wanted to, open the yeshiva, it was #1 donation. Or anyone that had a kollel, Talmud Torah, hey, come, start. He was known, he was a rich man, he appreciated Torah. So how come he has a 28-year-old son that wants to learn Torah? He doesn't let him go. He tells him, no, you have to work. What do you mean? Why is he working? So he wasn't sitting in the office managing all the... No, he was on the ground digging. Well, what's the story with you? Come on, you're a rich man. You're letting your son... And then another question is, if it's true that he really doesn't even know how to say Kriyat Shema, he doesn't know even how to say Birkat Hamazon, he doesn't know even how to say Tefillah, how come he gets the Zechut of Eliyahu Navi? I know how to say Kriyat Shema. I know how to say Tefillah. I know how to say Birkat Hamazon. Eliyahu Navi didn't come to me yet. Okay. Oh, yeah, you're so humble. Right? So, what's the story? How come the guy doesn't know anything? He doesn't know how to read Aleph Bet. How can he get revealed to Eliyahu Navi? More than that, Eliyahu Navi sees him and he tells him, "Yay, you're so nice. Wow, you're an amazing person." He tells him, "Oh, you want to learn Torah? Okay, go to the chief rabbi. He will teach you Torah." Come on. The guy that doesn't know how to read Hebrew, you tell him, go to the first grade teacher, right? Let him teach you Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Vav, Zayin. And then after you start teaching him Aleph, Bet, right? Then slowly, Torah Tzivalanu Moshe, Morasha Kilat Yaakov. You send him to the chief rabbi, like Chacham Obadi. You will send someone that doesn't know how to read to Chacham Obadi to teach him? What's the explanation with all these stories? I heard a beautiful explanation from Rabbi Weinberg, Rabbi Noach Weinberg, Rabbi Shalom. He was the Rosh Yeshiva of Esh HaTorah. He says that I heard it 20-something years ago. He explains the following. He says, listen, Eliezer ben Unkeluz, he was 28 years old. His father put him in the best Talmud Torah in Yerushalayim. And first grade, He taught him. He was in the best class. And then they start teaching him, and the kid, no, he doesn't understand anything. It's not that he comes up for 1 year. Comes in for 1 year, he gets out from the other. It doesn't even come into the ear. The guy is completely, like a wall. What? He doesn't understand nothing. Unkeluz, for the rich man, he hired a private teacher to teach him. And Eliezer, unfortunately, the little kid, doesn't understand a word of what they're teaching him. He doesn't know math, he doesn't know anything. English, nothing. So you know what? His father told him, you know what, my kid, all right, you don't have to. It started, they went to school somehow, whatever. Then he came out because it was the son off. But when he gets older, he told him, Habibi, unfortunately, you were born without a brain. So, what you have to do is sit down on the ground and dig. That's it. What can we do? This is it. Now, he's 20 years old, 28 years old. He doesn't understand anything. Okay, so he's working. And then suddenly he wakes up and starts crying. He wants to learn Torah. His father told him, yeah, we did that already. We tried it several times, and it didn't work out to my son. Be'ezrat Hashem, you'll get married. You'll have a wife. You'll get married. You'll have children. And Be'ezrat Hashem, your children will learn Torah. He was trying to appease him, to tell me, okay, mala'asot. When they were giving out the brain, you were not standing in the line. What can I do? But his son keeps on crying. And he's crying again and again and again and again. And he's so much crying, he doesn't want to eat even because it's this. After he was crying, he's crying. You know what crying is? Crying is showing what you really want. Emet. Crying means that it's a sense of missing out. I want to tell you a chidush. The first time in the Torah that crying is written in the Torah is about Hagar. Hagar. Remember the story of Avraham Avinu threw out Hagar, and Hagar right to the desert with Ishmael, and then she went in the desert. She got lost. All her money, all her water supplies were down, and she doesn't have what to eat in the middle of the desert. Nothing to drink, and she's like, the Eliezer is thrown out. He said, okay, I don't want to see how he's dying. And then she started crying, and then she got revealed to the Malach. Malach came over to her, and she was crying. Why was she crying? She was crying. It's showing a sense of missing out. Meaning that she was the daughter of the king of Egypt, and she wanted to be married to Avraham Avinu. She wanted to be the Mashiach. She wanted to be the one that Am Yisrael will come out from. And when she sees that she's thrown out, when she sees that her only son is about to die, she understands my plan is not going to happen. So missing out the opportunity is crying. So crying is missing out an opportunity. Why do we cry when a person has and goes away close to us? Because we say, oh, we missed it. We missed the opportunity. We should spend more time with it. We should have appreciated it more. It's regretting. Exactly. So this is what crying is all about. Eliezer Ben Unkeluz sitting down and crying and really showing a sincere feeling that he missed out, that he regrets that he never learned Torah. But a sincere feeling, such a sincere feeling, gets to see Eliyahu. Eliyahu says, listen, this is a sincere thing. This is the real thing. This guy really wants to learn Torah. His real feel of crying and wanting to learn changed the nature from no ability to learn, to understand, what's about, you get a miracle. And Eliyahu Navi says, listen, such a special person that really, really wants to learn Torah at such an age, he deserves to be treated by the Gadol Hador. Only the biggest rabbi of the generation will appreciate who he is and will send him to the right and do and make the right plan for him and make the right, to make the most out of it. Only the biggest rabbi. That's why he sent him to Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. And Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai asked him, what do you know? Do you know anything? Do you know Shema? Do you know Tefillah? You know Birkat Hamazon? And he's sincere. And he says, no, I don't. So Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai first teaches him how to pray. And then he guides him and gives him an opportunity to start learning. And I want to tell you something. Rabbi Eliezer Unkeluz, after a few years, came out to be the biggest Talmid of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. And he's the one that was, after Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, he replaced him as the Rosh Hashanah. Because of his real, sincere feeling of wanting to learn Torah. Amazing. That's amazing. It's an amazing story. That's an amazing thing for Rabbi Yochanan. How come Rabbi Yochanan? And then the Midrash says that after a few years, he became the biggest Talmid. And after a few years, by then he already knew that this guy is the son of Pirke. So what he did was he announced it's going to be a big shiur, and he's ordering together all the rich people of Yerushalayim. I forgot to tell you one thing, that Unkeluz, when this kid left, he was so angry. He said, I want to go to learn Torah. He says, you know what? He said, I'm making a promise that when I die, my money, he's not going to get a share in the Yerushalayim. He's not going to get. No, that's because he said this guy is an idiot. Well, we tried fighting with him for 28 years. He can't learn Torah. We tried it. Why does he want to learn Torah now? And he didn't know he was learning with Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. After a few years, when he became like the biggest Talmid of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai announces the big shiur. Everyone has to come, and everyone comes, and between them also Unkeluz comes. And then Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai stands up and he says, I don't want to give the shiur. I want my Talmid to give the shiur, Rabbi Eliezer ben Unkeluz. And Unkeluz is there. And Rabbi Eliezer starts talking and speaking and saying a wonderful shiur with bringing proofs from here and from there and by heart and this and that. Unbelievable. And Unkeluz is like, wow, I can't believe this is my son. He didn't even know how to read. How come he got so much? And then Unkeluz stood up and he said, I made a promise that he's not going to get a share from my money. Now I'm making promise that all my money is going to him. And then Rabbi Eliezer ben Unkeluz was the biggest Talmid Chacham of that generation and the richest man. But that all came from what? From wanting, from crying, from really deep feeling to want to be part of the Talmidei Chachamim. When you have such a deep feeling, when you understand when this is where we started. V'ata Yisrael, ma Hashem Elohecha shoel ma'imach. What is Hashem asking you from? Yeah, it's a long list, but if you start with the number one, Ki'im le'yirat Hashem, when you really fear Hashem, when you have a real fear, when you're really afraid, when you're sensing Hashem in front of you, when you want to be part of Am Yisrael, when you understand that every second Hashem created you to serve Him, what are you doing now? How are you doing? You can't say one day, no, I'm on vacation. I put a note, I'll be back soon. Doesn't work like that. Okay, Hashem, I did tefillah, I learned. Now, no, Habibi, no. Everything, 24 hours a day, you got to be connected. I'm going to work. I'm doing business like Hashem wants. I'm eating like Hashem wants. I wake up like Hashem wants. I go to sleep like Hashem wants. This is what it means experience. When you have this deep feeling, then for sure you can get to the highest possible rank in Avodat Hashem, Yiratzon, that which to all be zocheh, to be connected to Hashem 24/7. Have a great day. Back to